Welcome to the College Football Podcast with host Alec Pecado and co-host and host of the Walker Report, Brad Walker. Tonight's show is loaded. We're not going to waste any time. We've got Big 12 preview, ACC preview, and a bunch more. We're going to go off that for a second, and we're going to look at the preseason AP coaches poll. Because I went over it on my show this morning and I went on a rant. And I'm assuming Brad's probably going to do the same thing when he sees the atrociousness in these rankings. So we start at the bottom of the rankings. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. So 25 being Missouri.
Okay.
Do you have an issue with that?
I don't. I mean, hopefully they don't let everybody down like they've let me down the last couple of seasons, but we'll see.
I don't have an issue with Missouri being 25. 24 Houston.
I don't.
No. 23 is now where we get to what are the coaches thinking? Did they see what Clemson did last year?
Well, I guess what it means is they still got Dabo. So I guess that's the.
And I guess Dabo's now starting to figure out how to use the transfer portal.
No,
which
he complained about it for so many years. So yeah.
Look who's at 22. Our good old friend, that that just won't go away.
The Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah, they deserve to be there as much. I mean, again, I think with everything we've talked about, Kurt Ferentz he'll walk away before they get a new head coach in Iowa.
No, that's not what we want. That's what we want. No. This is what we want. So I don't have an issue with Iowa being at 22. I know eventually they're probably going to be somewhere in the top 25 when the AP releases their top 25.
I agree.
21 Utah. Any issue there? New head coach. Whittingham's not there anymore.
They're going off last year, bud. With those stats, that's why Utah is where they're at. They may. Well, I guess let me ask you this question: will they be there at the end of the year? Will they be in the top 25 at the end of the year? I guess is the question. We'll have to wait and see.
I'll say this: I think if both their QBs stay healthy, because I don't think what people realize is Utah's got a dangerous offense. Not only is Devin Dampier back, but Bird Ficklin is too. And I mean, we obviously know Dampier is going to be the starter. But if he gets hurt, the offense doesn't take a step back because Bird Ficklin is more than capable of
running that offense.
Yeah. At 20, it's your favorite tank conference team.
SMU.
The Ponies.
I think there's a good shot in the dark the Ponies win the ACC this year.
I don't want to spoil it, but I think they might. Washington's at number 19. Any issue there?
No, they're in the Big Ten. That's a tough conference. I don't have an issue with them being there at that level.
Other than the whole, and we've talked about it every couple shows, the whole Damon Williams debacle in the offseason.
Yeah.
Where he was supposedly getting a bigger loan sum of money from another school. I guess we'll never find out what school that was.
Right.
That's just the world we live in now with the NIL. 18 is Tennessee.
No, I don't have a problem being there. I don't know. There's been some articles, but since we didn't get the show done, so technical difficulties last week. But there's some people that say he's on the hot seat. I don't see how that is, but I don't know.
That's I know a few Tennessee fans, and they say Heupel's job right now is safe.
I would think so. I can't imagine.
But as we know, that's always subject to change depending on how the team performs.
I agree.
At 17, and this is the first one I kind of have an issue with. 17 is Penn State. Why are they so high?
That's a very, very good question because they don't have James Franklin anymore. He's now
they have Matt. Yeah, and now they have Matt Campbell.
I mean, I guess they think that Campbell will come in and do a great job right off the bat. That's my only guess.
That's the only thing I can think of. Well, and the thing is, Campbell brought a bunch of his guys from, as we call it, Louis luggage with him from Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably the main reason Penn State's ranked so high. 16, Michigan. Tuesday, we will look at win totals. I looked at win totals on my show the other day. 8.5 for Michigan. I'm just going to spoil it. I said under. Haven't gotten any slack from people yet, but I know eventually I will. Because Michigan fans are going to say, oh, where are you finding? I'll tell you right now, Michigan fans, you're going to lose at least 3 games. You're going to lose to Oklahoma. You're not beating Indiana, and you're not going to beat Ohio State. You can dream that you're going to win all 3 of those games. Just because Indiana doesn't have Mendoza anymore, it does not mean a thing. They still have Signetti. And Brad will agree with me. Signetti is one of the top 10 head coaches in college football.
Oh, hands down. I mean, he turned the program around to win them a national championship. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that their first in football? I think ever program history. I don't think they've won one prior to winning last year. So, yeah.
At 15 is BYU. Do we have any issue with that?
No, BYU they'll be big again in the Big 12 again this year. So that's no argument there.
Same here. USC at 14. Is there any issue with that?
I think Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat, honestly.
I do too. I think his seat it's not on fire yet, but it's getting to that point where if they lose, they play week 0 and week 1. So if they split, which they shouldn't, they should be 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
If they split one, if they win week 0, lose week 1. So I'm going to spoil it right now. I do have them on upset alert week 1 against Fresno State. Even though it's a home game. But, yeah, Lincoln Riley is on the hot seat. 13 is LSU.
Lane Kiffin.
That's what I was just about to say. I think we both know why LSU is at 13. It's because of Lane Kiffin. Okay. Here, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. Here's my first issue with the rankings. 12, Texas Tech. Why are they here? I would have been fine if they were here when Sorsby was the quarterback, but now that Sorsby's gone, why does Texas Tech get rewarded with being in the top 12?
I think, but it goes back to last year. I don't know how many returning players they have from last year's staff. Maybe that's the reason why they're so high. Well, I guess the question, but down now that Sorsby's gone, who's the starting quarterback?
Will Hammond, okay, who's coming back from a torn ACL.
Ooh, well, okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
11 is Alabama. The only issue, it's not really an issue. It's more of a problem. The only problem I have with Alabama being at 11 is, again, just like we said about Texas Tech, who is Alabama's quarterback going to be? It is not Ty Simpson anymore.
Nope.
So it's either going to be the highly talented 5-star in Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, which.
Do you think their coach is on the hot seat?
DeBoer, it's Bama. I'll say this. If the Bama job did become available, do you think the guy that's down in Baton Rouge would screw over another SEC school to go back to where it all began?
Boy, you want to talk about burning bridges. That would be nuclear burning bridges, because you go from Ole Miss to LSU, then you leave LSU and go to Alabama. Yeah, you're really, and you've already been at Tennessee. Remember, he was at Tennessee at one time too. So, yeah, I don't see that. I would see more like maybe if Dabo got fired, he would go to Alabama, something like that. They'd want a coach like that. That was, I don't know. It's a good. I mean, I know, again, just like with not Lane Kiffin, but with Lincoln Riley, I read a lot of articles too about Kalen DeBoer being, and I'm like, you guys made it to the playoff last year. Why don't you take a chill pill? Take a chill pill. Like, calm down, Alabama. You're not the team that you once were under Nick Saban. So please stop acting like you are, because you're not. You're not the same team. So.
Okay, so we semi don't have an issue with Bama. What about Ole Miss being at 10?
I think Ole Miss might be the dark knight to win the SEC, because they got their quarterback back. Their head coach is now he went from interim to the regular head coach. I don't see them dropping off that much, so I could see them being in the top 10 now and probably being in the top 10 when it's all said and done at the end of the season. So I don't have
an issue with Ole Miss. Oklahoma at 9.
Ugh, that's a little high for Oklahoma, but they have to beat Texas, obviously.
Exactly.
Just got to beat Texas.
I don't have an issue. A&M at 8.
See, A&M and Oklahoma are going to be the two teams that outside of Ohio State, will give Texas fits. And that's the two teams and then Arkansas obviously is the other one, which I didn't even know Arkansas was a rival of Texas until I have some Longhorn fans. I'm like, I didn't even know you guys were rivals with Arkansas. But
see,
I think
my
A&M,
issue with Texas is, I was just watching something before we started the show, and this guy was saying that Ohio State's going to go into Austin and lose because Julian Saint's not going to take well to playing a primetime game in DKR.
I don't see that being an issue. I think good quarterbacks step up in prime time, and if he's
I see Arch having more of an issue. Even though Ohio State's replacing a lot on defense, I see Arch having more of an issue than Julian Saint. But so we don't have an issue with A&M being in it. 7 is Miami. Miami, are you going to find a way to, what's the phrase we coined last year? Crystal ball yourselves?
It's going to happen. Yeah, I hate to sell it out to Hurricane fans, but yeah,
it's going to happen. You got lucky last year.
Yep, I was going to say.
You got lucky bailed out, and I know what they're going to say to this. You got bailed out against Ohio State because of ref ball. If you didn't get ref ball, you would not have been in the national championship.
I agree.
It would have been Ohio State. And I think Indiana probably would have still beat us, but it would have been much more of a competitive game. And speaking of said national champion, I'll give you one guess who's at number 6.
It's got to be Indiana.
Yes, and I'll let you go first because I went on a tangent on my other show this morning about Indiana being at 6 and how atrocious it is.
Well, the only thing I can think of, Bud, why they're so low and they're not 1, obviously, because they are the defending national champion, is they lost Mendoza to the NFL. But I don't see them falling off that much, honestly. I don't have a problem with them being in this spot. And you know what I would do if I was them? What have we said on our past shows too? Use it as bulletin board material. Okay, they don't think we're the number 16. We're the defending national champions, and they're giving us a 6 ranking. Throw it up on the board and let the boys take it to the future.
Yeah. My issue is, okay, yeah, you won the national championship. Why are you behind Notre Dame? And why are you behind Texas? What have those two schools done to earn being 4th and 5th in the rankings going into the season?
Well, other than Notre Dame, whining last year that they didn't get into the playoff.
That was my point I made on my show this morning. Was Notre Dame whined, and they didn't even play in a bowl game. So how are you going to tell me that they're going to be the 5th ranked team in the preseason AP coaches poll? They didn't even play a bowl game. They got invited to the Pop-Tart Bowl, and they chickened out because their feelings got hurt because they got left out of the playoff. And then Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I was at the Cure Bowl covering the USF game, and they already had the stuff for the Pop-Tarts Bowl out there, and I'm going, why you guys didn't get Notre Dame? He goes, we don't care. He goes, I don't care who comes and plays. And yeah, I think Notre Dame's there, Bud, because of Marcus Freeman. That's the only reason why they're in the top 5. That's what I'm going to say. So that's my
and then I think we both know
Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then I think we both know why Texas is at 4. It's because who's their quarterback?
Yeah, it's because of Arch. Yeah.
Yep. 3, Georgia. Other than, and all props to Kirby Smart. He's actually stepping up now and telling kids, if you get trouble off the field for doing something stupid, you're going to be suspended indefinitely.
No, he should. He's been having issues with his players off the field the last few years.
It's about time. It took him 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be here all night if we tried to name all the players that got popped and in trouble for speeding and doing stupid stuff.
Do you think, brother, that there's a possibility that the alumni came to him and said, either stop or you're gone? I'm that's my guess, that alumni came to him and said, enough's enough, Kirby, enough's enough. You can't let these kids keep.
I don't doubt that, because they do have a huge alumni following. Georgia's got one of the bigger alumni groups in the nation. Number 2, do you have an issue with Oregon being number 2?
I don't. They're the second best team in the Big Ten behind the number 1 team. But no, I don't have a problem with Oregon, because Oregon's going to give Ohio State fits. They did last year or the year before. So they'll be right there too. And do you guys play them this year in Eugene, or you don't play them at all this year?
So we play them in Columbus. We play. Play them in Columbus. Yeah.
Okay. At the Horseshoe.
We play. Yeah, we play Michigan at home this year. We play at USC.
That won't be a problem. That USC is not what they used to be. Sorry, all Trojan fans out there.
We play Oregon at home, at USC, Texas on the road, Indiana on the road, Michigan on the road. Michigan at home. And Michigan fans are like, Ohio State has beaten us in Columbus in 2,123 days. And I remind them, I'm like, that's with you might want to put an extra 1 on there and say without cheating.
Mm-hmm.
because we all know for the 3 years that they beat us, 3 out of the 4 years they beat us, I'll give them, what was it, 2024 when they beat us in Ann Arbor, 13-10. I'll give them that
Yeah.
one. But the previous 3 years, including the year they won the Natty, the sign stealing, the whole thing with Harbaugh, but yet their fan base wants to say they're innocent.
I have a friend of mine who's a Florida State fan that says that Michigan owes them that national championship.
I mean, in a way, yes, I would agree.
Remember, FSU got left out because Jordan Travis got hurt, and the committee didn't even vote him. They were undefeated. The Noles didn't lose a game that whole season, and they got knocked out.
Well, and then here's the funny thing: the Michigan fans want to bring up, and before we get into the Big 12, we can briefly talk about this. Michigan fans love to bring up the fact that Ohio State's had to vacate wins. Michigan, if the NCAA didn't slap you on the wrist and give you a get out of jail free card, you would have had to do the same thing that Ohio State and Penn State had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one other team that had to do that. Was it? Oh, Kentucky. Kentucky had to do it too in football because of NCAA violations. I just watched the video on it.
Didn't SMU do it back in the 80s when they did their whole thing? Didn't they lose wins? Something like that?
They got the death penalty.
USC
they missed the entire 1980 college football season.
Then USC got in trouble too.
Yep.
For when
their national championship got taken away.
Yeah.
And Reggie Bush got his Heisman taken away.
Which, I don't like the fact that they do that sometimes because now you punish the kids that are there now. They weren't even in college when that happened. So that's my only fight of crap about that is you're like with you guys with Jim Tressel with the tattoo thing. You're taking scholarships away and taking wins away and taking that away. Well, those kids weren't in school. They weren't even in college when that happened. So that's what I don't like about the NCAA. Yeah.
Well, and then if the NCAA had any backbone or teeth, they would have stepped right in and said, Michigan, you're getting a postseason ban for 3 years. But no, they babied them and said, here's your punishment. $20,000 fine, which that's chump change to Michigan.
Right.
That's chump change. Reduced scholarships, that's nothing to Michigan. Harbaugh gets a 10-year showcase, which basically means he's probably never going to coach in college again. The one that was the biggest slap in the face was the whole brainchild behind it, Connor Stallions. Only getting a 7-year showcase from the NCAA. I wish the NCAA would have called up all the high schools and said, look, for 4 years, you're not allowed to hire Connor Stallions. And I would have said, fine, that's it. I'm done. But then again, anyway, let's get to the Big 12 preview. In the Big 12 in 2026 looks the same as it did. There was no changes in the conference compared to the MAC, the Sun Belt, which we will talk about the MAC another day, and Sacramento State, and how bad both of us feel for Sacramento State. Brad and I have gone on a tangent about that and the amount of travel that Sacramento State's going to have. But let's get into the big
for that travel budget.
Oh, they're gonna break travel records. There's no way around it. But anyway, to the Big 12. Let me start with the non-bowl teams in the Big 12. Who is your first non-bowl team in the Big 12? I have 3.
I'm gonna go Kansas. Would be my first.
What's your
non-bowl
explanation
team
as to why Kansas is your first non-bowl team?
Again, guys, they went 3-9 last year, 1-8 in the conference. I just I don't see it getting any better for the Jayhawks. They have a good basketball team. Let's leave it at that.
I'm going to say the exact same thing about Kansas that you just did. They're more of about, yes, they've had a couple good years in football, but I think they're going to go back to what they used to be, the doormat of the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
My next non-bowl team is, Brad, you're going to love this, is UCF. I'm sorry to all the Scott Frost truthers. Yes, Alonzo Barnett has been named the starting quarterback at UCF. I just don't see a path where y'all win more than 5 games. Who is your next non-bowl team in the Big 12?
It's got to be Colorado. This is prime year for Coach Prime. Honestly, I think this is a make or break season for the Buffaloes, and I think that's where I would have them. Would be, I can't see them winning more than they won 3 games a year ago. If they win 5 or 6, that would be great. But I don't see that happening, so.
My last non-bowl team in the Big 12, shocker, is Cincinnati. Brad and I talked about it. You can go back and watch the old episodes of the podcast. How does Scott Satterfield, how did he survive this coaching carousel? How did he survive?
That's a good question, bud. That's a good question.
Those are my non-bowl teams. We get to the bowl teams now. Who is your first bowl team in the Big 12?
I'm going to go with K-State. They were in the First Responders Bowl a year ago. I like them. I think they have the edge over, obviously, the Jayhawks. That's their in-state rival. But I'm going to go with K-State. I think they go back to another bowl game again this year in 2026.
My first bowl team in the Big 12, and I got some slack for it on my show when I said it, is TCU. People are like, oh, TCU should be in the sleeper category. Why? And I ranked their QB room today. Jaden Craig's going to be the starter. There's not really much tape out there on him because he played in the FCS last year. But we know Sonny Dykes is their head coach. And what is Sonny Dykes known for? Overachieving.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up the word overachieving in the dictionary, guess whose beautiful face is the first thing you'll see? Sonny Dykes. Who is your next bowl team in the Big 12?
I'm going to go, surprisingly, with Oklahoma State. They will be a bowl team again this year. And, oh, by the way, they don't have their coach anymore. It's a new head coach. So, yeah.
They don't have their sheriff, Mike Gundy. The sheriff is no longer coaching.
Surprising, but I think he'll be getting a job in the next couple of years. That's my my prediction.
I'm going to think he's probably going to get a job at like South Carolina if Shane gets fired.
Yeah.
My next bowl team in the Big 12, and I know Brad just put them in his non-bowl category. I have Colorado. I think Prime has gotten his head out of his rear end, and he knows that he's lucky to still have Julian Juju Lewis as his quarterback. And he's going to use the ultra-talented Julian Lewis in so many ways this year that Colorado's going to win at least 6 games. There's people out there saying that Colorado could win 9. What are you on? I don't see 9 wins on their schedule. I see 7, maybe 8. Who's your next bowl team in the Big 12?
I'm going to go with Houston. The Cougars. They were in the Pop-Tarts Bowl last year. We just talked about Notre Dame not being there. But I'll take the Cougars. I think strong enough that they're a bowl team. I think they might win the conference this year too. Just to go out on a limb and say that.
My next bowl team in the Big 12 is Arizona. And I need to make a correction. I said that Noah Fafita was gone. He is actually back. But he has no Ted McMillan for the second year in a row because both me and Brad know where Ted McMillan is. He's in Carolina. Which prayers up to all Panthers fans for the injury bug taking 2 of your best young players.
Yeah. Atlanta got hit hard too, so it all seems to be coming back for Tampa Bay.
But it's Brett Brennan, and yes, we did talk about Brett Brennan a lot on the show last year and how he was on the hot seat, but somehow he led Arizona to a bowl game. My next, I'll give you a second. My next bowl team in the Big 12 is Oklahoma State. And they brung in Eric Morris. They brung in Drew Mestemaker. And Drew Mestemaker, obviously, we both knew that he was going to be named the starter right away. Because Eric Morris didn't bring him over to sit him on the bench. Who's your next 2 bowl teams in the Big 12?
I'm gonna go, Bud. I'm gonna go with both the Arizona schools. Both Arizona and Arizona State. Both of them made it back. Arizona State's been on a tear the last few years. And Arizona was a surprise. I think we did this last year and had them winning, 1 or 2 games? They won 8.
Yeah.
So I would say Arizona State would be my next 2 as far as bowl teams.
My final 2 bowl teams in the Big 12 are West Virginia. It's Rich Rodriguez's second year. He used the portal again and brought in a bunch of new guys, including Michael Hawkins Jr. from Oklahoma. And Hawkins is probably going to be the starter, but I'm going to tell people this right now. If Hawkins struggles, which Brad and I can attest to, because we watch college football a lot, and we watched a lot of Oklahoma last year. And Brad, back me up. Did Michael Hawkins struggle at Oklahoma?
He did.
That's probably why he's on a new team. Well, then again, Oklahoma also has a guy that's probably going to be in the Heisman race, and John Mateer. So, and then my last bowl team is Kansas State. Yes, no more Chris Klieman. It is now the Colin Klein era. Did we think those words would be coming out of Alex's mouth in 2026? Did we think we'd be saying that Colin Klein was going to be a head coach? I'll let Brad answer that one.
No, I'm going to say that.
Now we get to the sleepers in the Big 12. My first sleeper is Iowa State. And yes, I know Matt Campbell's not there anymore, but they do have a new head coach in, I think it's Jimmy Rogers from Washington State. And I do like what he did. He brung some of his kids over from his previous stop. And we know the Big 12 tends to be wacky. On any given Saturday in the Big 12, you could see a game that's 65-60.
Mm-hmm.
Because what do we call the Big 12? The optional defense conference. Hey, Brad, do you agree with that?
I know, I definitely agree with that because, like you just said, this is a conference, guys, that at any like Alec just said, you could turn a game on and it can be, 60-65. I mean, it's just
or
that
it could be 10-7 in the fourth quarter.
They're an offensive minded conference. So yeah.
That doesn't care about defense. It's or as a guy I watch on YouTube likes to say, Scoretard Sports, it is the conference of chaos. It's the chaos conference because one, defense is optional, and two, you can have a game like we just said that's 65-60 in the fourth quarter, or a game that's 10-3. Who is your first sleeper in the Big 12?
Sleepers, I would have to say, but I agree with you with Iowa State. It really baffles me that you have Iowa's in the Big 10 and Iowa State's in the Big 12. That really baffles me. I'm just going to throw that out there. But I would say Iowa State definitely is one of my sleepers in the conference.
My next two sleepers are Houston and Arizona State. Houston, we said the same thing about Houston last year, but not about Willie Fritz being on the hot seat, but that Houston, it was going to take a couple years for Willie Fritz to turn Houston around. And boy, were we both wrong. It took him 1 year. Actually, it took him less than a year. It took him 6.5 months.
Yeah.
And then my last sleeper in the Big 12 is Arizona State. No more Sam Levitt. I think Cutter Bowley's going to do just fine in that Kenny Dillingham offense. Who are your last two sleepers in the Big 12?
I'm going to take TCU, Bud, as one. And the other one that I have in that position is the Mountaineers. I think this is a big year for West Virginia. So I think mine would be TCU and West Virginia would be my last two sleeper picks.
And now we get to the favorites. I have 4 favorites in the Big 12. How many do you have?
I have the exact same 4 you do, buddy. So I have the exact same.
Yes,
4.
ladies and gentlemen, I know we just talked about Texas Tech and their quarterback, but they still have Joey McGuire as their head coach. And they can easily open that checkbook because Mark Cuban is one of the donors. Then you got Baylor. Dave Aranda, this is a big year for him. DJ Lagway's there. Utah, new head coach, but I think they can easily win this conference. And BYU, I don't think we need to explain anything about BYU. They got snubbed last year from the playoff. And my Big 12 championship game is BYU and Texas Tech, with BYU winning the Big 12 this year. Who is your Big 12 title game?
The Big 12 title game. Oh, out of those 4, you know what? I'm going to go on a huge limb, buddy. I'm going to say the Battle of Utah. I'm going to take the Utes and BYU. The Battle of Utah.
The Holy War.
The Holy War. Yep.
Okay. And before we get to the 10th conference, who wants to bet? Who wants to bet Cincinnati makes a bowl game?
Is that what's? I don't know, because you know what? Being that I cover the conference that Cincinnati used to be in. I'm sure that. Not sure.
And then the same guy says Houston was in the Texas Bowl. Yes, we are aware that Houston was in a bowl game last year. We didn't say they weren't.
Oh, that. I think I said, but I think I may have said they were in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That was my fault. Maybe I read that incorrectly. Sorry about that if I did read that incorrectly. I have a screen up here, so maybe I misread that.
But anyway, contrary to what everybody wants to believe, yes, Houston did make a bowl game. And, sir, I will take that bet that Cincinnati makes a bowl game. Because I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't think Scott Satterfield's going to last the entire season.
Oh. Very interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up the show talking about the 10th conference, which we know as the Atlantic Coast
Conference.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Here goes nothing. So the non-bowl teams. Who is your first non-bowl team in the ACC?
Oh, come on now. That isn't even a question. I'll tell you who it is. It's in my home state. It's the Seminoles. There is no way in Sam, you know what, they're making a bowl game this year. Ain't happening, Captain. It ain't happening. It is not happening in Tallahassee. So let's start there. I'll start there. I'll start with that one.
I went. Some people would say I went a little more conventional with my first one. North Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, North Carolina fans. Billy Boy, Bill Belichick is on the hot seat.
Uh-huh.
And I'll give the viewing audience one guess as to who the offensive coordinator now is at North Carolina.
Is it his son? Is it Steve? Nope.
No.
Or Steve the DC?
He used to be the interim head coach at Arkansas.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It is Bobby P. Bobby?
Yeah.
Yep. And there's already people saying, oh, they're using Bobby Petrino as the scapegoat. Because they're going to fire Belichick halfway through the year, and Petrino's going to walk in and take the... just like he did at Arkansas. Who is your next non-bowl team in the ACC?
It's BC. You were talking about coaches being on the hot seat. I think it's pretty nuclear there for the Eagles. It hasn't worked since he got there, so I don't see it happening anytime soon.
You're talking about Billy O? Ladies and gentlemen, he'd be referred. Yep, Billy O. My next non-bowl team and my last non-bowl team is Boston College. Bill O'Brien, get ready to pack your stuff and go learn a job somewhere else. Maybe it's Subway, or as the younger generation likes to say, put the fries in the bag. Yes, I may be 27, but I do know some teenage references. Now we slide over to the bowl teams in the ACC. Who's your first bowl team in the ACC?
Bowl teams. I'm gonna go. Oh, give me. I'll take Syracuse. I'll take the orange. I will take the orange as my first team.
Explain to the lovely viewing audience why.
Well, Syracuse went. Let's see. Where did they go last year? What was their record a year ago? Let's see.
3-9.
No, they were 3-9, 1-7 in the conference. I think they get better. Also, they're one of those teams I think out there that there's not a lot of pressure on them. Like no one expects them to win. Why not throw them in that lurch of being a bowl team this year, 2026?
My first bowl team is Florida State. And I know Brad put them as a non-bowl team. I somehow think they will make a bowl game. And that is the only way Coach Norvell saves his job.
Yes, I would agree.
But I'll give you one guess who they plucked out of the transfer portal to be their quarterback. It was a guy that was used to be at Stanford, and he was at Auburn last year. And his last name is Daniels. And no, it's not JT Daniels.
Is it Chase?
Nope. Ashton Daniels. And I gave a harsh rating to their quarterback room today. I gave it a C- when I did my show this morning. I gave it a grade of a C-. The only intriguing thing in their quarterback room is Kevin Sperry, which I understand you want a veteran starting, but why not give the kid a chance? That's the only way you maybe save your job, Norvell.
Yeah. Well, and I asked my buddy who is a Seminoles fan, I said, why is it that you guys can't recruit a quarterback anymore? You what? Like, you guys can't recruit a quarterback anymore? So.
Who is your next bowl team in the ACC?
My next bowl team in the ACC, I'm going to go Cal. I'm going to go with the Bears. They were a bowl team. They were 7-6 a year ago. I can't see them falling too far off. So I'm going to go with Cal.
My next non-bowl team, my next bowl team correction is Syracuse. And they're getting Steve Angeli back, but they've also upgraded their quarterback room behind them. They have a couple of upperclassmen behind Steve Angeli. So if Angeli gets hurt, they're still in good shape. Who is your next bowl team in the ACC?
I'm going to go with the team that caused all that havoc last year, Duke. They caused all that havoc by winning the ACC championship game last year. So.
I also have Duke my next non-bowl team, and this is going to surprise the people, I have Stanford. I like the head coach hiring of Tavita Pritchard, and I think Stanford, no, they may not win the ACC, but I think they will make a bowl game. Who is your next bowl team in the ACC?
I'm going to go with Vautech. They have a new coach. I don't think again, this is a conference that James Franklin might be able to finally win a big game in because he couldn't do it in the Big Ten.
Well, so. And do we have to say that the phrase again? Do we for the audience? This is the Tank Conference. The Tank Conference. Put that on a shirt. We will make us in Squid Talk Sports will make so much money. The branding's right there. My next bold team is Duke. And as one Mr. Bradley Walker just said, Duke is the one that caused all the havoc last season by winning the ACC when they had no realistic reason to win the conference.
Uh-huh.
Who is your next bold team in the ACC?
I'm going to go Wake. The Demon Deacons. They had 9-4 a year ago. They were 4-4 in the conference. I think they get a better conference record. And they may be that team that might be in the ACC championship game at the end of the year.
My next bold team is Pitt. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, you were just trashing them earlier today when you did the ACC. And you did quarterback rooms. You were talking about how they don't have a good quarterback room. That doesn't mean I don't believe in them that they will make a bowl game, because I think they will. Who is your next bold team in the ACC?
I'm going to go NC State. I have a buddy of mine who's not in good graces with their head coach, Dave Doran. If you want to go watch ACC Media Day, watch the NC State one. My buddy's name is Scott. He's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and him and Coach don't get along very well. So go watch that tape.
NC State is my next bowl team, and is NC State fine with just going 8-4 or 7-5 every year? Because it sure seems like that.
I guess so, man. They went
8
5 years ago. Yeah.
Well, and see, the issue is they could have got rid of Dave Dorn a long time ago. What is the issue? Why are they keeping him?
Well, but let me ask you this question. Do you think if they go 8-5 again this year that he is gone?
I think like we said about Georgia with Kirby Smart, I think the alumni at NC State, if NC State goes 8-5 again, they're going to walk into Dave Dorn's office and say, look, either you cut this 8-5 trash out and you go 9-4 or 10-2, or we'll be looking for a new head coach.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And who is your last bowl team in the ACC?
The last bowl team. I don't want to say any of those guys. Let me. You know what? But I'll put Stanford in there too. I think they like Syracuse. I think improve this year and get 6 wins.
My last bowl team is a team you talked about a minute ago, Wake Forest. Jake Dicker led them to a 9-4 season last year. I think he improves in year 2, and they go, I know we put him as a bowl team, but I think there's a way they could be a sleeper. And they could sneak up on some teams and do more damage than people want to think. Now we get to the sleepers. I have 3 sleeper teams in the ACC. First one being, well, before that, how many sleeper teams do you have in the ACC?
I also have 3, buddy, as well. Yeah.
My first sleeper team in the ACC is SMU. Kevin Jennings is back. Rick Lashley's back. I think it's time we put respect on the team that's at the Southern Methodist University Mustangs. I feel like people are disrespecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your first sleeper in the ACC?
My first sleeper, bud. I'm gonna go. This is a long shot. I'm going Louisville. I think Louisville will be one of those teams that could be. They're on the cusp of the favorite area, but I'm gonna go the Cardinals. And what I like about Louisville is, by the way, for all the USF fans out there, that's who we open against in our new stadium in 2027. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the new on-campus stadium. But I'm going to take the Cardinals.
You know what? I forgot to put Louisville on here, but they're going to be under one. They're going to be one of my sleepers.
Yeah, I would
Now
put
that I
them.
think of it, I missed Louisville. I'm sorry, Louisville fans. No ill will towards you. I just realized that I did not put you on under one of the categories. But finish what you were saying.
Yeah, they again, Louisville went 9-4 last year. Again, they were 500 in the conference. They no, I mean they're one of those like you said, Bud. They're one of those teams that you have to be very, very cautious about. When it comes to that. So beware. Just throw that out there. Beware. I think they're going to be there when it's all said and done.
My next sleeper in the ACC, and I forgot to add them. It is Louisville. Jeff Brom has made a name for himself at Louisville after leaving Purdue. And I don't think he regrets it at all. Do you?
No.
And Purdue's got a new AD now. Purdue stole Rice's AD. Rice's AD went to Purdue to be the athletic director there. But that is my next sleeper in the ACC is Louisville. Who is your next sleeper in the ACC?
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech reminds me a lot of Iowa. They just don't go away. They just don't go away. So I have Georgia, I have Georgia Tech in that spot. So yeah. Yep, I got Georgia Tech.
My last two sleepers in the ACC are Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, just like Brad said, it's just like Iowa. There's that yes, I know they lost Haynes King and Jamal Haynes, but they're still going to stick around in games that they're not supposed to be in. And in Virginia Tech, yes, people are going to say I have that infatuation with Virginia Tech. Because Brad can back me up on it. Don't I have an infatuation with Virginia Tech?
Yes. Well, yeah, he got to go as a media member last year, and that's got to be cool. And I got to say, seeing, what the heck? Why am I blanking on the song? Sandman, Enter Sandman. It's got to be one of the coolest things to see them come out to. So, gotta hope to do that.
And Virginia Tech, Brett Price is on the staff still at Va Tech, but they've got James Franklin as her head coach now. And now we transition into the favorites category in the ACC, where I have three teams. How many do you have, Brad?
I also have three, but two.
My first favorite in the ACC is Virginia. And Virginia was in the ACC title game this past season. And they lost to a team we talked about earlier that had no business winning the ACC. Virginia's got a new quarterback. Who is your first favorite in the ACC?
I'm going to go with Virginia also. I think hopefully this is the year that they get to the back to the championship game again and win it. Because like I said, that messed up the whole college football playoff because Duke beat them. They weren't supposed to do that. So, yeah, I'll take Virginia, the Cavaliers. And that's
would it be weird if we saw Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game?
No, not at all. Not at all. That would be kind of interesting, too, to see those two teams battling it out for it all.
Because they play rivalry week. But what if they have the same exact record and they lose to each other and they both finish 1-2? My next favorite in the ACC is, and I feel disgusted doing this, it's Clemson. No more Cade Klubnik. Christopher Fazina is probably going to be the starting quarterback. I don't blame you if you've never heard that name. Because he's been stuck behind Cade Klubnik for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it is Dabo. He gets the best out of every quarterback he has. And again, it's the tank conference. I'm sorry that I've said that about 4 times now, but it gets my point across. It's the tank conference. Anybody can win this conference. Who is your next favorite in the ACC?
Miami. The Miami Hurricanes, a team that got to the national championship game a year ago. If they don't crystal ball their way out of a couple games, I think they'll be right there when it's all said and done. They were 13-3 last year and 6-2 within the conference. So, but again, to this day, they're a team too that's I don't know, have they ever won an ACC championship? I don't think they ever have.
I don't believe they have off my memory. I don't believe they have.
Yeah. So
that is my last favorite in the ACC is Miami. And if they don't crystal ball themselves, they will absolutely win this conference. But if they do crystal ball themselves, then they may still find themselves in the ACC title game.
Yeah.
But there's also the chance they completely miss the ACC title game, don't make it back to the playoff, and crystal ball gets the can. Which we would all love that, because then we could say, our favorite words to say is, "We told you so." And who's your last favorite in the ACC?
It's the Ponies. It's the Mustangs. It's SMU. I think this is the year they finally break through. I think this is the year for SMU. 9-4 a year ago, 6-2 in the conference. They were the Miami, then were tied for the second best conference record behind Virginia, who was 7-2. So, yeah.
And my ACC title game is Virginia Tech and Miami. That would sell tickets, as the younger generation likes to say. That would feed families for decades. Who is your ACC title game?
I'm going to take SMU Virginia. I think Virginia gets back, and I think SMU wins it.
I think Virginia Tech beats Miami. He says I would switch out Clemson for SMU in favorites. I don't hate that. I don't hate that change. I would actually agree with it, because SMU does bring back an experienced quarterback. Just don't let Bobby P anywhere near.
Is it you're a motorcycle? See that this is why you gotta love fans right here, man. You gotta love fans when you're able to do that. So there you go.
Just don't let Bobby P anywhere near a motorcycle.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly.
Yeah, just ask Arkansas. Just ask Arkansas how that went.
Exactly.
But before we get out of here, Brad, tell them about your show.
Yeah, tonight we're gonna keep it mostly one topic. I'm sure I don't know what we'll do, but we're talking about boxing. We're gonna talk about the 50 greatest boxers and the top 10 boxing matches. We've been wanting to have a show like this for a while. So it will be an all boxing show tonight on the Walker Report YouTube channel. Head over there. You can watch it live.
And we will be back on Tuesday night at our normal time of 5:30. And it'll be our bold predictions show on Tuesday, as well as looking at win totals and hopefully getting some great show, guys. I just subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate it. We look at win totals on Tuesday, bold predictions, and a lot more. Probably more ranting about the terrible preseason AP poll, coaches poll. But but that does it for tonight's show. Have a wonderful rest of your night, everybody.
Peace, everybody.